Okay, welcome everybody to a class on misplaced and dangling modifiers. What's a modifier? A modifier is a word that describes. So adjectives are modifiers that describe nouns, and adverbs are modifiers that describe everything else. They describe verbs, adjectives, adverbs, and entire clauses. And we'll see today, right now, that it's not just adjectives, actually, that can be misplaced and can be used ambiguously. It's also adverbial phrases, and we'll see those as well today, especially down the bottom here. But let's start with the following. I gave my exam paper to the teacher with a smug grin. Now, the problem with this is this prepositional phrase at the end, with a smug grin. And I want you to remember that prepositional phrases usually start with a preposition. You might see an adverb in there first, but they usually start with a preposition. In, on, up, down, with, without, for, to. There are lots of prepositions. Yeah, these are these words plus noun, where they set up a relationship to a noun. And these prepositional phrases, as we shall see in future classes, they function adjectivally or adverbially. Very rarely they do function as nouns, but most of the time they function. This is an adjective or an adverb. So what do you think, guys? Is it an adjective or an adverb? Well, I suppose you might argue that it's how you gave it to the teacher. You might argue that, but I wouldn't actually. I would say that this is an adjective, and it's either describing I or it's describing the teacher. And the problem with saying it like this, I gave my exam paper to the teacher with a smug grin. It sounds like the teacher's got the smug grin, but I might mean, and I probably do mean, the I. Yeah, maybe you had cheated during the exam, and so you know you got all of the answers right. And so with a smug grin, comma, I gave my exam paper to the teacher. Now, if you front the prepositional phrase, and you can certainly do that, if you front it, it's unambiguous, it's clear. With a smug grin, comma, I gave my exam paper to the teacher. And with fronted adjectival phrases, this is what I'm saying here, for example, participles, very common fronted adjectival phrase, they must describe the subject of the verb in the main clause. Now, you will see, and we will see even in Frankenstein or something like that, you will see dangling participles, dangling modifiers, misplaced modifiers in literature sometimes. But with any academic essay, you want to avoid sentences like that because it's ambiguous. And as I've already explained, anything that's ambiguous is not good in an academic essay. You don't want to leave the person reading your essay scratching their head thinking, what on earth is he talking about?